I'm going to show you guys the best filters you should be using on Daily Grind Fantasy for each DFS app to increase your likelihood of winning. I will start out by saying that these are the filters that I use and I recommend, but you can toy with them yourself and maybe find something that works better for you and track your progress and see if you want to tweak some things after that. And for those of you that don't know about Daily Grind Fantasy, it is actually a website that helps you compare sportsbooks lines and odds directly back to apps like PrizePicks, Underdog, Fliff, and other different DFS apps to help you find the best mathematical value to help you profit long term. Many other people use Daily Grind Fantasy to help find their picks and get an edge against the books. As you can see, this Pure Victory guy, he is up over 5 grand in the month of January using Daily Grind Fantasy. Travis crushing Rebet using Daily Grind Fantasy. Big Duck Bets also smashing January. There's plenty of people already using this website to help find the best plays and actually profit sports betting on these different DFS apps. Of course, the first app I am going to be talking about is PrizePicks, and I'll share my filters for that app. But throughout this video, I will tell you guys my filters and the best slip types you should be playing on these different apps. This is what the PrizePicks board on Daily Grind Fantasy looks like without any filters. As you can see, there's not a ton of data points for these top plays. However, based on the data points given, they are pretty good chances to hit on the optimizer. However, what I like to do to give ourselves a little bit of backup, have at least 2 or 3 data points, and of course, the more the merrier. If we can have 5 or 6 data points for plays, we are getting a lot of confidence from the books. Those are good plays on PrizePicks, but to weed out these plays where we only have 1 data point, we don't know who to trust, PrizePicks or Underdog or PrizePicks and DraftKings, etc. We're going to go ahead and at least set this to either 2 or 3, depending on what maybe you like. I typically like 3 different data points as my minimum data point filter. And then from there, we see that we don't have much value on PrizePicks at the moment, but we do know when there is value that pops up, we are going to be very confident in these plays as we have multiple different sports books, multiple different DFS apps, all agreeing on this play against PrizePicks. However, there are some legitimate reasons for leaving the minimum data points filter at 0, and that would really be for middling. Like if we look here, CS2 reels in at 8 on PrizePicks. You could take the under of 8 on PrizePicks and then take the over of 6 on Underdog, middling this prop. If it lands on 6, 7, or 8, you either win both bets if it lands on 7, or you win one, push the other if it lands on 6 or 8. So there is some value in middling, and you're able to find that if there is only 2 data points, because the most accurate projection is probably somewhere in the middle, like 7 for this case. Esports is growing, so it's pretty often these days that we have 2 or 3 data points for these esports plays like CS2, League of Legends, and Call of Duty. But if esports is not for you and you want to just simply get rid of them, you can come to the filters over here and deselect the esports, and it will only pop up real sports for you. But yeah, my personal main filter for PrizePicks is really just having 3 minimum data points. And for PrizePicks, you should only be playing 5 and 6 man flexes, as they are mathematically the easiest slip types to profit long-term playing on PrizePicks. Now let's get into UD. I won't spend much time here because it is very similar to PrizePicks, as they are both set payout platforms and work super similar. So my main filter, once again, is going to be filtering this by 3 minimum data points. And you can see with that, there is not a ton of value at the moment. But here are some of those esports plays I was talking about earlier that have actually 4 data points. 3 here, and then also UD, which is actually much lower than the rest of these data points. So this would be a really good bet to take the over on Underdog at 29.5 kills. And the 2 best slip types you should be playing on Underdog are the 3-man uninsured slips, which you are getting each leg at -122 odds, and then the 6-pick insured entry, which you are getting at -116 odds each individual leg. Now let's change gears and head to Fliff, which works more like a traditional sportsbook, so these filters are going to be a little different. You can see here, these are some very heavily juiced plays, and sure, they are off on Fliff when comparing to FanDuel at least as 1 data point, but I'm not spending my hard-earned money on a -13,000 play, just personally. And for that reason, I like to use the min-max odds feature to narrow down plays that I feel comfortable playing within a certain amount of odds. So I usually do like -175 and +150, we'll say. And that will go ahead and only pull plays that are -175 to +150 on Fliff. So I am in a comfortable range with what I like playing on these Fliff slips, or straight bets. And that's really it. I'll play anything that is plus EV within those odds. Now on Fliff, I typically parlay things, right? Either 2 or 3 man parlays, depending on the value. So, for instance, this Tyrese Maxey under 7.5 assists and Vit Krejcik under 4.5 assists, I would just go ahead and toss in a 2-man parlay rather than straight betting, and that is because I don't really love straight betting anything higher than like minus 130. So yes, 2 or 3 man parlays on Fliff is what I suggest because it compounds your edge rather than just getting a smaller edge playing as straight bets on Fliff. Now another DFS app that is a set payout platform named Dabble, I pretty much do the same exact thing with the data points, but for the most part, I will leave this one just as is because it is often very filtered with a lot of data points at the top because there's usually a lot of value on Dabble. And when I see that, I'm able to easily see across the optimizers at Daily Grind Fantasy that there is multiple data points and I can trust it. So I really don't mess with the filters too much on Dabble, but if I did, it would either changing it to 2 or 3 minimum data points. But there are times on all of these different apps where I might go 1-to-1 comparison if it's a FanDuel or DraftKings or Pinnacle line. It's just depending on what I'm feeling, but typically 2 or 3 minimum data points at least. On Dabble, you want to be playing those 3-man uninsured slips just like UD, where you are getting each individual leg at minus 122 odds, as well as 5-pick uninsured slips, where you are getting each individual leg at minus 121 odds. Jake Paul's better picks. As you can see, there are plenty of data points across all of these top value plays off Daily Grind Fantasy, and that's really how I leave it. There's not many times I've been on Better and seen them only have 1 data point. Typically, if it is on Better, it has multiple sportsbooks with a line in projection for this as well. So I don't really mess with it. For whatever reason, it's just easy enough to see that they have a billion data points on almost every play. And on Better, the best slip types to play are 5 and 6 man insured slips. And last but not least, we have 2 apps that are very, very similar. They are peer-to-peer sports betting. So it's you versus another user that is setting odds on this book, not against an actual sports book setting their own lines and odds. It's actually another user. We see a lot of plus money plays on these 2 apps. For whatever reason, why these users are setting these certain odds, I'm not sure. But in order for me to feel comfortable filtering out these really plus money plays and dial into a more higher percent odds to hit plays, I like to use this min-max odds feature. And I'm a little less or more than Fliff on these. So I am typically going to do like minus 150 minimum odds and then really like around plus 115 maximum odds. That keeps my odds percent to hit pretty high, which narrows down variance, right? It helps me eliminate negative variance as I won't be choosing plays that have a lesser chance to hit. Therefore, I should be winning more often based off of these odds percent to hit and what the actual sportsbooks are giving these plays. So anything within these filters on Novig, I feel comfortable playing. A little different than Profit X, which is another peer-to-peer app, like I mentioned. I like to go with around minus 150 to really like plus 110 on this app. For whatever reason, they have a lot of college basketball plus money plays that don't have a bunch of data points that are like plus 125 to like plus 150-ish. And since they don't have a lot of data points typically, I like to just filter them out and get right to the best plays with a decent amount of data points. And speaking of it, this is a pretty good play here on Profit X. You have Okonkwo over 1.5 turnovers at plus 108 odds when the entire sportsbook market, 3 data points, have this minus 125 or higher. This should not exist on Profit X, but because some random guy on the internet set odds for Okonkwo under 1.5 turnovers at minus 108 odds, we got this side of the bet, and it means we got a profitable bet for us sharp sports bettors using Daily Grind Fantasy. I know this was a little bit different of a video, but hopefully you guys enjoyed an inside look at my filters on Daily Grind Fantasy. That way you can see what I'm looking for and what I require before I place a bet. If you're not yet signed up for Daily Grind Fantasy, I will leave a link down in the description below for you to sign up. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you leave a like on the video, subscribe on your way out. I post sports betting content like this every single week.